What is up, guys? A very good morning and welcome to a new daily market outlook. Starting off with the dollar index. The dollar index has been pulling up in towards the highs as we of course expected in yesterday's video. As we can clearly see, of course, we took out that low yesterday over here, swiped those early buyers out. Then we saw that change of character, and from that moment, we were of course logically bullish and ready to make that pullback back up in towards the highs, because guys, there are two ways to identify that a pullback is going to be initiated and that the end of a swing in towards the downside is near, and that is through either an internal break of structure or a fractal break in structure. And in this particular situation, there was a fractal break in structure. Boom, push up in towards the highs. So currently, where are we nearing with price? Well, price is coming back up in towards, of course, this buy before the sell. If we refine this, then this is pretty much going to be your buy before the sell over here. So these two buy candles before the big sell-off in towards the downside, that is now your current supply zone. So what I'm waiting for is for price to potentially do something like this, move up higher in towards that supply zone. And if we then see that reaction change in structure, then I will be looking for those dollar shorts. Otherwise, we could of course logically fill up this gap and even move up higher in towards this extreme area of supply. So until we do not see kind of like any, let's say, 4-hour change of character, I am still bullish on the dollar index to make a push up higher in towards higher supply zones, being either this one or of course this higher one over here. You can, of course, and this again is the refined area of supply, if we adjust it to the entire buy before the sell, then you could also take this wick into consideration. That would mean that we're already located and positioned in supply. So if we do see a reaction from this point in price, then just wait for that internal change of character to happen, and then wait for that move in towards the downside, because once we see that fractal break in structure and that change of character, then we can expect a potential push down lower. So that's a dollar index, and what we're waiting for, still higher prices until we see that change of character here on the 4-hour. Moving down in towards euro dollar, guys, because euro dollar has played out beautifully, pretty much exactly as expected. As you can see, early reaction, early buyers getting in here based on support and resistance. Again, tapping towards demand and then that pushback up. However, we as traders know there's no liquidation in this move up. So what happens? The people who went long initially with their stop loss, of course, underneath the lows, as I explained in yesterday's video, are now being stopped out. So now what do we want to look for? Well, let's have a look at the lower time frame. But first, let's just quickly go in towards the daily. Because guys, the daily at this current stage and time is of course still bearish from a swing perspective, right? This entire swing down is making euro dollar from a swing perspective bearish. However, from an internal perspective, we are bullish, right? And from a change of character perspective, we are also bullish. So we can clearly see high, higher high, higher high, higher high, and then we have the low, higher low, and now potentially a new higher low from this area in price, which is, for example, this daily demand, which took out this high over here, and ultimately also this high where some supply was inside over here as well. So I do reckon that this is a daily zone that we should take into consideration. And if we pull back down in towards there, we could potentially see one push up higher, because overall, if we look at this daily swing in towards the downside and we draw on our premium versus discount tool, we can clearly see that we have not yet made a push up higher in towards the EQ of the overall swing range. And that is something that you pretty much always minimally want to see. So taking this into consideration, going back down in towards the 4-hour and knowing that the 4-hour swing structure is still bullish, we can still look for longs. That is something that we have to take or keep in mind. Now I'm just going to adjust this zone in towards a daily zone so that it also shows up on my 4-hour time frame. And then we can see that this 4-hour zone is stacked with your daily zone, meaning that this is an interesting area to potentially go long from because you have more confluence than simply from this area of 4-hour demand. However, the lower time frame is going to tell us if this 4-hour demand zone holds any significance at all. So what I'm glad to do is just to draw in my premium versus discount tool again. And what I can clearly see is that the EQ lies within this sell before the buy. So I am happy to take a potential buy from this demand zone on the 4-hour. However, for that to happen, I need the 15-minute to develop. So what do I need from the 15-minute? Well, overall, from the 15-minute time frame, and again, the 4-hour zone is not showing up on the 15. So let me just adjust. So we can see, okay, clearly this is the entire 4-hour zone. So now diving in towards the 15, we can see that the 15 has made a high, lower high, lower low, lower high, and now again a lower low. So the internal structure and the swing structure here on the 15-minute are all bearish, meaning that it is stupid to just randomly start buying from, for example, this area of demand, because we can clearly see this is like a high, lower low, lower high, but then what happens, this lower high gets broken, meaning that the internal structure shifted once we got in towards this demand zone. So push up, push down, push up, push down, push up. And then you had, for example, this area of demand over here where you can see price kind of stalled. So people were potentially going long from here because they saw kind of like higher high, higher high, higher high, higher low, higher low. And then they expected this to be the new higher low. However, guys, the 15-minute swing structure was bearish. So it would have been pretty stupid just to start randomly buying over here. Again, no liquidation in the move up. So you can clearly see that those people who went long over here became liquidity. So for now, what do we want to see from your dollar? And sorry, this is getting a little bit long, but we need to break this high over here. Once that high is broken, then I'll be happy to look for long. Until this high is not broken, still further downside, deeper in towards the 4-hour demand, and potentially even that lower 4-hour demand is still in place. So keep that in mind when trading the 15 on euro dollar. Once we break this high over here, I'm not going to be shorting, guys, from, let's say, any of these supply zones because we are located in demand. But if we do break this high over here on the 4-hour, then we will be looking for those longs upon a pullback, of course. So like this, and then we go long. So that's euro dollar, very comprehensive and I think a clear explanation. Okay, now Aussie dollar. So Aussie dollar is, of course, making its pullback after the 4-hour break of structure. So we have now formed our 4-hour high located over here. 4-hour low is down below over here. Again, premium versus discount tool, very, very simple. What we can see is that we have nearly pulled back in towards 50%. Over here, liquidation of this low. So grab of 4-hour liquidity underneath this low, which means, and could be a tail sign, that there's potential pullback incoming in towards, for example, this area of supply. Because from this area of supply, price could potentially push up and then push down in towards that daily area of demand and the 4-hour demand, which lies inside that daily area of demand, where the high probability longs are going to be played from. Now, overall, the one issue that I have with Aussie dollar is the fact that fractal structure, which I like to use to time pullbacks or the end of pullbacks, is that the fractal structure high is based all the way up here. So if we wait for that fractal structure high to break, then we're going to miss out on the entire trade, for example, back up. So what we need from Aussie dollar now is it to break this low over here. Because once this low breaks, this is your high, and then you can trade this high break over here, because that means fractal structure. It will also most likely be an internal 4-hour structure as well. So there will be a lot of confluence then to take buys from the potential demand zone, which is then created by taking out this high. And then preferably, of course, the tap will happen in towards, let's say here, daily demand, then take out that high, pull back, and then we will go full power and full steam long on Aussie dollar. So that's that. 15-minute, not really going to focus too much on it. I can just say that the 15-minute swing structure overall is bearish. The internal has just flipped bearish as well. We can clearly see it was pretty similar to euro dollar, with high, and then this was your low. But then what happened is the high got broken, which broke this low. So it means high, higher high, higher high, higher high, higher low, higher low. And then this was your potential, of course, trade over here with short-term gains. But again, there's no high time frame demand zone here to our left. So it's stupid to start buying. So then what happens? We see a potential, and it has not yet broken. So we need to close below this low. But then we have the internal structure break. And then we expect, of course, still further downside in line with the 15-minute swing structure. Then once we hit those 4-hour and daily demand zones, then we are going to be looking for a buy. So that's Aussie dollar, then pound dollar. So pound dollar pushing down lower, waiting for this area of demand to get hit. Then we will start looking for a potential long back up in towards the highs. I think very simple and clear explanation of pound dollar. Ultimately, this is over here. Some demand on the daily time frame lies inside here. A real quick daily zone over here, or you could just continue it to the entire sell before the buy and then just add in these wicks. So then if we go in towards the 4-hour, you can clearly see that 4-hour demand lies inside that daily. Only issue is that there's no, again, liquidation in that move up. So just be careful when you start looking for buys from here. Try and look for very clear liquidation when coming in towards these demand zones. But yeah, I will be looking for a potential long once we reach that 4-hour area of demand. Just wait for a change of character potentially, because now at the moment fractal structure, this is your low, and over here is your high on this bullish candle. So for example, what we could see is something like this, this, and this. So all the dollar pairs are showing pretty much the same kind of price action that we're looking for at the moment. It's very similar to Aussie dollar, of course, and Euro dollar. Then Kiwi dollar. So yeah, Kiwi dollar, I mean, it made that push down in towards this area of demand. Again, what is very likely is that this low over here is going to get run because there is no liquidity or liquidation in this move up. So the early buyers are now going to get stopped out most likely. So let's keep an eye on that, because once they get stopped out, that is when you pretty much want to start looking for a long opportunity. Overall, however, from a daily perspective, daily is bearish, and we of course tapped in towards the supply zone. So it could just be that Kiwi dollar is ready to push down lower. The only thing is that we have this area of daily demand situated over here. But again, it's not very significant because it hasn't really achieved anything, right? Except for kind of taking out this buy before the sell, because you could consider this supply to some extent. Not the most beautiful zone, however. But of course, if we then go back down in towards the 4 hour and we liquidate the lows over here, and then we see bullish intentions start to rise, and for example, a 4 hour change in character, so we see like this, then I will look for longs. Otherwise, not looking for longs at all. So we need this high to break over here for us to look for longs. So that's Kiwi dollar. Last of all, gold. So gold, guys, of course, yeah, I have kind of like a love-hate relationship with gold, just because it's very choppy. Overall, from a daily perspective, real quick, the daily has made a, let's see. So the daily is still bullish from a fractal structure perspective. This is still your high, and over here, this is still your low. So the low is still protected. As long as this low is protected, still look for buys. Once that low is gone, then we're definitely going to wait for this area of demand to get hit on a daily perspective, or from a daily perspective. So yeah, as long as this low over here is respected, it's fine. So what I'll be looking for is, again, very similar to these dollar pairs. What you'll want to see is a 4 hour change of character to signify that the bulls are back. So wait for this low to go, then wait for this high to go, which broke this low, and then wait for the pullback to go long. Or if you want, you can already look for shorts inside of here, but it's not very favorable because this is kind of like your fractal low. Also, it's very similar to a 4 hour swing structure, because if we view this from 4 hour swing structure, this is your low, which broke this high, and this is your high. So this, everything here is just a pullback, with this being your swing low, this being your swing high. So you preferably want to start looking for longs from here. However, for, let's say, the bullish intentions to be very clear, we need that change of character. So preferably, I would want this low to go, because then we just need to break this high, and then you can look for those longs. Otherwise, if you want to wait for a fractal structure break, we have to wait for price to reach all the way up over here again. So that's why I would prefer to see this instead of, for example, this. So yeah, that's my gold analysis, guys. Very clear and simple. Thank you all for joining in once again. If you have any questions, just feel free to join the Discord server, link in the description down below, and I wish you all a fantastic day. Thanks, guys.